Hey guys, Coach Dan Blewett here. So number one, I've got my barbell end sleeve wrist rollers. This is a great alternative to those little dinky ones that you hold up because they allow it to pretty much isolate your forearms without your shoulders being the weak link. If you don't know how to set this up, check out my other tutorial because I do have a counterweight on the other side and it takes a little bit of know-how. So it's very simple, but again, check out my other tutorial on how to set this up. So let's go over some wrist roller variations. So number one, we can go heavy with this. So that's the first thing I want to stress. You can load up. I have a 25-pound plate on this guy, and that's just for demonstration because I'm going to be running back and forth. But we've done up to 100 plus pounds on this. When you have one of these bands, it can be a little bit tougher to use that much weight. You have to sometimes have a really thick band. This is kind of like a medium, but on the heavier side band. We also use climbing webbing. So if you think about the nylon webbing that you'd use on a seat belt's made out of, you can buy that in long loops just like this. This is a 42-inch loop band. And that stuff's super durable, it's very inexpensive, and it's something you could throw in your gym bag, weighs nothing, and you could bring it in and do the same thing with that. That would support a lot more weight if you're interested in that. So I recommend you check that out. And then as far as this, we have a counterweight, but there's a bunch of different variations. So aside from going heavy, we can definitely do burnouts to get a good pump, because really to get a good pump in our forearm, we can do farmer's walks, we can do a high volume of wrist rollers, or forearm curls, and especially for the extensors, which are a very critical and overlooked muscle group, this is a really great exercise to do that. Typically you only have reverse curls, you have reverse wrist curls, but there's not a whole lot more to hit your extensors really well, and these are going to ward off elbow pain that you get from all the constant heavy deadlifts, from throwing if you're a baseball or softball athlete, all that kind of stuff. So don't forget about the extensors. So number one, you can go heavy. Number two, you can go really, really fast, and you can get a great pump. You can let it unspool and go right back into it. You can get all the way up, and then you can go eccentrically down. So you can get a great pump both going forward, which will hit your flexors, so the anterior compartment, or you can go in reverse, which is going to crush your extensors, which again are one of the very overlooked muscle groups in the upper body. So after that, let's talk about forward and backwards. So obviously again, forward is for flexors, pronators, reverse is for extensors. One thing I like to do is not go super choppy and quick. I like to take full range of motion turns. So this is a great way to get a little bigger range of motion. You get a little range of motion about your shoulder too. It's not just your hands, because you don't really have to do it like this. So that's a great way to do it. Take really big bear claw kind of turns, okay? So you don't have to go short and choppy all the time. That's where you want to go heavier as well. Another variation, you can go concentric only, which means whether you're going forward or backwards, that means letting it unspool, so you're only getting the concentric portion. You can also roll it up, have a friend roll it up. Obviously, if you roll it up and then unroll it, it's going to be both. But if you want to have a friend roll it up for you with a really heavy weight, you could do eccentric only as well. So I'm just controlling it as I lower it. Obviously, you'll be able to do a lot more weight if you eccentric only, because we're stronger that way. And then the last main variation, so obviously this is thicker, so this is a great tool in general, because thicker means you have to put more of your forearm intensity into just gripping the bar when you turn it. And then the last thing we can do, so besides going eccentric or concentric only, we can go both hands if you really wanted to. If you're going super heavy, we could do that. We don't do that one a ton here in my Warbird Academy, but you can do two hands if you want to go really heavy. But again, just don't limit yourself, because the wrist roller is a great engaging tool. It's not boring forearm stuff. It's not the same old stuff. It's not the wrist curls on the bench. It's really engaging. It's something new. It's fresh. You can easily set up in your commercial gym, home gym, anywhere you have a barbell and a power rack. And again, it's just a great way to hit, especially the forearm extensors, which are often overlooked in your training.